Welcome to Epic Oracles, where we uncover the mysterious myths of ancient Greece. Today we explore the chilling story of Medusa, a name that brings both fear and wonder. Beyond the scary appearance lies a tale of beauty, betrayal and change that will send shivers down your spine. In Greek mythology, Medusa is a figure with a sad and complicated story. Born as the only mortal among the Gorgon sisters, she was once incredibly beautiful. Her long hair flowed like golden waterfalls, framing a face that could make even the stars jealous. Her eyes were deep and spellbinding, able to capture hearts with just one look. Medusa's charm wasn't just about her looks. She was known for her grace and kindness too. As a young woman, people all over ancient Greece celebrated Medusa's beauty. Poets wrote about her, artists tried to paint her, and men traveled from far away just to see her famous beauty. But Medusa stayed humble, not knowing that her looks would lead to both great joy and terrible sadness. During this time of praise and innocence, Medusa's life took an important turn. Drawn to spiritual things, she became a priestess in Athena's temple, promising to live a pure life dedicated to the goddess. She truly cared about serving in the temple and found purpose in her work. Medusa's presence made the temple even more beautiful, her looks matching the sacred objects and detailed architecture. But the gods of Olympus noticed Medusa's charms too. One of her many admirers was Poseidon, the unpredictable god of the seas. Known for his stormy moods, Poseidon wasn't used to being told no. The sea god's interest in Medusa grew into an obsession, and he wouldn't take no for an answer. He chased after her constantly, becoming more and more forceful. Medusa, staying true to her promises and her own wishes, turned down Poseidon's advances. She tried to find peace in her duties, hoping that her dedication to Athena would protect her from the sea god's lustful eyes. But Poseidon's desire had no limits and his patience was running out. In a moment of fear, Medusa hid in the deepest part of Athena's temple. Here, among the holy objects and under the watchful eyes of Athena's statue, she prayed hard for protection. She thought that in this holiest of places, she would be safe from Poseidon's advances. But the sea god's lust didn't respect holy boundaries. In a terrible act that would change Medusa's life forever, Poseidon attacked her within the very walls of Athena's sanctuary. The temple, once a place of peace and devotion, became the site of Medusa's worst nightmare. What happened next set off a chain of events that would change Medusa's identity and legacy. The temple, made unholy by Poseidon's actions, shook with the weight of this offense. The statues seemed to cry, and the air felt heavy with the promise of godly punishment. Athena, when she learned about the attack in her temple, was filled with angry fury. But in a cruel twist, her anger wasn't aimed at Poseidon, who was really to blame. Instead, the goddess turned her anger on the helpless Medusa, the very woman who had asked for her protection. Was it jealousy that clouded Athena's judgment, or was it the complicated politics of the gods that stopped her from punishing Poseidon? Whatever the reason, Athena's decision to punish Medusa stands as one of mythology's greatest injustices. The curse that Athena put on Medusa was quick and horrifying. Medusa's transformation began with her beautiful hair. The shiny locks that had once inspired poetry began to twist and turn, each strand changing into a poisonous snake. The hiss of these new snakes was a chilling sound, each noise a reminder of Medusa's lost humanity. But it was Medusa's eyes that got the worst of Athena's anger. Once windows to a kind soul, able to show warmth and care, they now held a terrible power. One look from these changed eyes could turn living things to cold, hard stone. Medusa's gaze, which had once brought joy and admiration, was now a weapon that turned things to stone. This change marked more than just a physical transformation. It was the death of Medusa's old self. In just moments, she had changed from a loved priestess to a scary monster, feared by gods and humans alike. The maiden who once inspired admiration now caused paralyzing fear. Medusa's new form was like a prison, cutting her off from the world she once knew and loved. Unable to look at another living being without causing their death, she was forced into a life alone. Feared and hated, Medusa ran away to a faraway island, far from the people who had once loved her. Life as a Gorgon was filled with bitter irony. Medusa had a terrible power, but it brought her nothing but crushing loneliness. Her island home, once a potential paradise, became a grim gallery of stone figures, lasting proof of her deadly curse. Each day brought new pain. The memory of her past life haunted Medusa, always reminding her of all she had lost. She longed for human connection, for a kind word or a gentle touch, but her very nature made such comforts impossible. The snakes on her head became her only companions, their hisses a poor replacement for human conversation. As stories about Medusa spread, people misunderstood her situation more and more. Tales spread across Greece of an evil creature hiding in the shadows, waiting to attack unwary travelers. Mothers warned their children about the snake-haired monster, and heroes dreamed of the glory they might win by killing her. Yet beneath the monstrous outside beat the heart of a victim, a woman punished for a crime she didn't commit, forced to bear the weight of godly injustice. Medusa's story became a cautionary tale, twisted by those who didn't know the truth about her tragic transformation. The sadness of Medusa's tale lies not just in her transformation, but in the loss of her humanity. Stripped of friendship, love, and hope, she became a living symbol of the unfair cruelty of the gods. Her story serves as a grim reminder of how quickly fortune can change, and how beauty can become a curse when it attracts the wrong kind of attention. Years passed, and Medusa's loneliness grew deeper. The island became her entire world, a prison of her own making. The statues that dotted her domain stood as silent witnesses to her suffering, their frozen expressions a mix of terror and pity. Medusa's torment seemed destined to last forever, her isolation a sentence from which there was no escape. But fate, it seemed, had one final twist in store for the tragic Gorgon. Enter Perseus, the demigod son of Zeus and the human woman Danae. Young, ambitious, and eager to prove himself, Perseus was tricked into accepting a dangerous quest by King Polydectes of Seriphos. The king, wanting to marry Perseus's mother against her will, challenged the young hero to bring him the head of Medusa as a wedding gift. Unprepared for such a dangerous task, Perseus might have failed before he began. But the gods, for reasons of their own, decided to step in. Perhaps they wanted entertainment, or maybe they saw in Perseus a chance to finally end Medusa's suffering. Whatever their reasons, they armed the young hero with an arsenal of godly gifts. From Athena, Perseus received a polished shield, its surface reflecting like a mirror. Hephaestus, the divine blacksmith, provided a super-sharp sword, able to cut through any obstacle. Hermes gave him winged sandals, giving him the power of flight, and from Hades himself came a helmet of invisibility, allowing Perseus to approach his target unseen. Armed with these gifts, Perseus set out on his dangerous journey to face Medusa. As he neared her island lair, the air grew thick with tension. The very atmosphere seemed to warn of the danger that lay ahead, the wind carrying whispers of those who had come before and failed. Would this encounter bring Medusa the release she secretly longed for, or would it merely add another statue to her grim collection? The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo through the ages, a final chapter in the tragic tale of a woman whose beauty became her downfall. As Perseus stepped onto the island's shore, the weight of his quest pressed heavily upon him. The landscape was proof of Medusa's curse, stone figures scattered across the land, their faces frozen in eternal horror. Each step brought him closer to his target, and to a truth he could not yet understand. In the end, Medusa's story is more than just a myth. It stands as a powerful lesson about the dark side of beauty, the dangers of desire, and the often unfair nature of godly punishment. Her tale continues to captivate and horrify, showing how Greek mythology can reflect the complexities of the human condition. The legend of Medusa serves as a mirror to our own society, challenging us to question our views on beauty, power, and justice. It reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, that victims can be wrongly blamed, and that the true monsters may not be those we initially fear. As we think about Medusa's tragic transformation, we are forced to examine our own judgments and assumptions. Her story urges us to look beyond the surface, to seek understanding before condemnation, and to recognize the humanity in even the most feared and misunderstood among us. In the end, the tale of Medusa is not just a story of a monster, but a powerful reminder of the importance of compassion and the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable hardship. It challenges us to confront our own Medusa-like qualities and to strive for a world where beauty, in all its forms, is celebrated rather than cursed. If you found Medusa's story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. Dive into more mythological tales with us, and let's explore the ancient stories that still hold powerful meanings today.